Hey everybody, Dr. Gregg here again from the eCenter for Hope and Vision. That's echv.org. And today we are starting with part 1 of iOS vision accessibility. When Steve Jobs conceived of these mobile devices, one of the main things he wanted was that this device would be able to be used by anybody, regardless of whether they could see or hear. And so to that end, he had always pushed that Apple be the leader in accessibility. And to this day, they really are king of the hill. The accessibility features of the Apple devices are, without question, the ones that work the smoothest. They are the easiest to find, to activate and deactivate on the fly. And because of that, they make them the most useful, in my opinion, at least at this point, for people who have any different type of disability, whether that's vision or hearing or motor skills. Those are all features that Apple has built into these devices. So let's talk a little bit about these devices to begin with. You know, when we talk about an iPad or an iPhone, the thing you have to remember about these is that these are touchscreen devices. And what we mean by that is it's not touched by the amount of pressure that you use. While Apple has added something called Force Touch, that's not the same thing as it being a touchscreen device, in that when you use different swipe gestures, whether you're touching, tapping, swiping, flicking, rotating, the idea is that it is based on the heat of your fingertips, not how many times you can hit it as hard as you can with 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 fingers, because each one of those is actually a different command. A 1-finger tap versus 2 fingers means 2 different things to this device. So those are the types of things that we are going to learn as we move forward through the different parts of learning how to use the iOS vision accessibility features. So touchscreen devices by heat, not by touch. So therefore, the lighter you touch and tap and swipe, actually, the more efficient the device really does work. All of us tend to, when it doesn't work the first time, begin to tap harder or swipe harder. And I'm just as guilty of that as anybody, even though I teach this. This is something that you have to stop. Remember, light touch, and it usually works very easily and very smoothly. Now, the thing I also want you to think about is, when you set this device up, what is the particular visual condition that you have, and what's going to help you see the best? For example, when I have mine turned on, I set it up so that with my iPad or my iPhone, they are identical in every single way. I set it up so it has a black background, so the icons, for me, really pop. Now, there may be some people who actually see better with a white background, and you can set that up for either one to whichever works best for your vision. If you go into the settings and you go under wallpaper, which would be under the display features, and then you can choose what you want, whether that be a multicolored display, which I don't usually recommend to my patients or clients, because you don't need a busy background. You really want something that's going to be a nice plain background where things can pop that you need to be able to see so that you can use this device efficiently. And so to that end, where do we find the vision accessibility features? Well, those are going to be found in the settings. Let's open up my iPad again here. I always like to set mine up so that the settings icon is in the upper left corner of the home screen, the very first screen of apps that you would have in your device. You can move things around by resting your finger on it, and if you rest it on it for just a few seconds, you will see that it will begin to shake, okay? As they jiggle, you'll see apps that can be deleted, and those which cannot, because they're part of the operating system, like the settings, cannot be moved or deleted, but it can be moved. So if you put your finger on it and hold it, you'll see it begin to grow just a little bit, and then you can drag it anywhere that you want on the screen. When you are done, you can swipe up and it will lock everything back in place. So I do this with all of my clients, because then that way, even if your vision changes, you always know you're at the number one home screen, because settings is in the upper left corner. If we go to settings, we just lightly touch it and it opens up. Now, when you look at your device, I want you to notice that when you look down, the left-hand side are all of the main tabs that are the menu for the settings in the iOS devices. And what's beautiful about this, and this is the way Apple has always done things, when you learn one device, whether it's the iPad or an iPod, people still have, and you make good use of those, or the iPhone, the menu is exactly the same on every single one. So no matter which device you pick up, whether that's on yours or anyone else's, the menu is always exactly the same. So it makes it very easy for you to find what it is that you're looking for. Many of the other devices, the problem with those is that they will write the software to fit their device. And oftentimes then you have to hunt around for where things might be. What we want to do is we want to scroll that left side up until we find the accessibility icon, okay? Because now in the tabs menu, Apple has finally given accessibility with the advent of iOS 13. They gave accessibility its own tab on the main menu for settings. So we will go to that, we will tap that, and now it opens up, and here is the list of all of the accessibility features. The first grouping has to do with vision, and the second grouping is set up so that we have things for people with physical and motor skill deficits. The next subsection is those who have hearing problems. So Apple has all kinds of features that can be set up to help people regardless of which disability they may be struggling with, or a combination of those. As we look down the list, we've got voiceover. That is something that we're going to talk about in some of our later teachings that will be coming up, because that is a feature that is really predominantly set up for people who are profoundly visually impaired. Zoom. This is a built-in magnification for the screen itself. We've got a magnifier. We're going to talk about how that can be used, just like an electronic magnifier. Display and text size. We can modify things to make it easier for us to see. And then motion. A lot of times they have things called parallax, where if you turn the device, it looks like the icons are popping up off the page better. For some people, that doesn't work good when they have a vision impairment. So I teach people how they can go in and either turn that off, or if they don't mind and they like it that way, they can activate it again. And then we have spoken content, where we can have things on the screen read back to us. Very, very helpful features here. And then finally, under the vision, we have audible descriptions. So you can have where your finger may run over something and then it will describe what it is that it sees. Those are the main features that we are going to be talking about in part 2 of iOS vision accessibility. So I want to invite you, if you like this video, please click the like button down at the bottom here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always there to try and help people at the eCenter for Hope and Vision, and that is at no charge. So we just ask if people can make a donation to help support the mission of us seeking to restore hope and independence for people who suffer with vision loss. God bless you, and look forward to seeing you in part 2 of iOS vision accessibility.